Welcome, game design students. In this video, we're going to add a health bar to our player HUD using the blueprint component method that we used for the score. And here's what it looks like. As you can see, we have this fire over here, and when we walk into the fire, our health starts to go down, and when we reach 0, we die. So we're going to need three things to make this happen. We're going to need the fire hazard actor that you saw in the scene. We're going to need a blueprint component for health, and we're going to need a health slider in our player HUD. So let's start with the blueprint component. Let's open that custom blueprints folder that we created. Mine is called BP lesson for this. This is the one I worked on to figure this out. So I'm going to open this one, and inside your custom blueprints folder, let's create a blueprint class, and we're going to create an actor component. And let's name this one BPC for blueprint component underscore health. I'm going to put a 0, 1 on mine because I already have one in here called health. And then let's open it up. And let's delete this event tick. We don't need it. We are going to use the begin play though. Let's start by creating two variables. Click the plus sign here and name your first one health. And then let's change that variable type to float. Now remember, a float is a fractional value as opposed to an integer, which is always a whole value. And then let's create another variable, and we'll name this one max health. Now when we begin play, we want health to be 100%, and that'll be our maximum health. So let's go ahead and compile. And when we compile, we can now see a default value down here for max health. So let's make that 100. And then when we start play, I'm going to set our health to the max health, which is by default 100. Now we need to allow the player to take damage and affect the health. So right click and type in get owner. And this will allow the owner of this blueprint component to take damage. And then let's drag off of this and type in take any damage. And we want bind event on take any damage. And let's connect that right here. And now we need an event to take damage. So drag off of this and type in custom event. And that adds all these pins, and name this one on damage taken. And then let's get our health value. And drag off of here and hit the minus sign because we're going to subtract any damage we take from the health value. And we don't want this value to go below 0, so drag off of here and type in clamp. And we're going to clamp a float. So the minimum is going to be 0, and the maximum is going to be max health. And then let's get our health and set the health value based on that calculation. Connect these two. And now we need to custom event dispatchers right here. So click right here and name this one on health changed. And then click the plus sign again and name this one on health depleted. So when our health is depleted, we want to do something. In this case, die. Our on health changed dispatcher needs an input, so select it and click the plus sign here and name this new input new health and make it a float. And now let's take this dispatcher and drag it out here and call it. And we're going to connect this here. and then we need to set our health as the new health value. And then we need to have a check to see if that health is less than or equal to 0. So let's drag out the health value and get it. And then drag off of here and hit your less than sign, and we want less than or equal to. And drag off of here and type in branch. Now, if our health is less than or equal to 0, then our health has been depleted. So let's drag our health depleted value out, or dispatcher out, call it, and connect these two together. And then let's compile and save. And let's review this. So on begin play, we set the health to max health, which has a default value of 100. And then we're going to bind the event to the owner of this blueprint component, and the event is going to be on damage taken. When we take damage, we're going to subtract the damage from the health. We're going to clamp our health value, our new health value, from between 0 and 100. And then we're going to set the new health value. Then we're going to dispatch that to a new health value. And then we're going to check to see if our health is less than 0. And if it is, we're going to call the health depleted dispatcher. And let's go ahead and dock this here. And now we need to open up our third-person blueprint. Go ahead and dock this up here. And in here, as you can see, we've already added our score component here. We're going to add our health component. So click the plus sign and type in BPC, and you should find your health component. Go ahead and add it. After you add that, we need to add some logic that goes along with it. So what we need here are some custom functions. We need perform death, and we need a ragdoll function. This is going to allow our player to collapse. So click here, plus, and select a new custom function and name it perform death. And that should create a new function for you. Now, under perform death, let's right click and find the variable can be damaged. And we're going to set that to false. In other words, this box is not checked. And this will assure that our character won't take any additional damage after it's died. And now we need to add some logic to the ragdoll function. So from here, right click and type in set collision profile name mesh. And then connect that to that. And then in here, we're going to type in ragdoll. Not ragdoll none, ragdoll. And now we need simulate physics, so let's set simulate physics. And we want to set simulate physics on the mesh. Connect these two and check simulate. And then we want to disable the character's movement. We need to attach components, so let's right click and click attach, or type in attach component to component, camera boom. Connect these two. And then let's copy this mesh component here, Control C, Control V, and attach this to the parent node here. And then the socket name we need to be pelvis. And then let's compile and save. Return to the perform death function. And now we can call that ragdoll function here so that when we die, we perform the ragdoll function. But we forgot to do one thing in the ragdoll thing here. We need to do a collision test. So let's copy the camera boom reference here, Control C, Control V, and drag off of here and type in collision. And we're going to set do collision test, just like so. And then let's compile and save. And return back to the perform death function. So let's return to the event graph, and we're going to add some functionality here. So if you click the health function, or the health blueprint component that you have here, you now have the custom events that we created in there right here. So we need to select plus for on health depleted. And when our health is depleted, we want to perform death. And that's it for that. Now let's compile and save. And when we come back in the next video, we'll create the fire actor that will apply damage to us, and we'll also create the health bar. And I'll see you then.